Kane Sugoi. Good morning. Huh? Wait, what's this Olaf news? Where is the Olaf news? Was there Olaf news? Minus Olaf plus Olaf? I thought there was some Olaf news. Good morning, Day Mitty. Good morning, big man. Counter-Strike documentary ready up. Released by Blast. Huh. That was for the first few days of IEM Katowice. So Olaf is back already. That's the thing, right? Because Ropz tested positive for the Rona, for the Coof, and so now he has to deal with that sort of thing. Morning, Daro. Morning, Happy Panda. Morning, big man. Yeah, I have to check this Ropz news. Yeah, Nifty is in talks apparently. Interesting. Didn't he put himself out there as being available? Morning, Zwap. Or Zop. Morning, Professy. So, rankings, Navi number 1 still. Gambit number 2. Interesting. Vitality number 3. Most arrogant country. If it doesn't say France, yep, there you go. Hey, solid. How does it feel to live in a country without restrictions? Pretty damn good. Every day. Every day, I have to remind myself that. Hey, salut Goy, ça fait un moment. Tout va bien, vieux? Et pourtant, je les ai laissés pousser un peu. Why would they choose Nifty over Olaf? It's a good question considering Olaf is up to date with Kerrigan's strategies, etc. Like slotting Olaf in. I mean, just bringing Olaf in, way easier. Now it's a question, I don't know. I mean, Olaf is still on contract and he's on bench, so I'm assuming if they ask Olaf, he has to go, right? Close that. Oh, this is such a beautiful one. This is art. This is such a beautiful painting. That's probably my most favorite painting that I've found so far recently. Léonard Limousin. Oh, good morning. No more restrictions is amazing. I mean, there weren't that many restrictions to begin with, but they did start putting in restrictions stupidly because it's election season. And so the politicians needed to look like they were doing something. And they were probably under intense pressure from the EU because obviously Sweden has been making everybody else look bad for the past 2 years. Sweden has been making everybody else look. I'm just amazed that Sweden managed to get through this long. I'm amazed. It is truly, it's something I wake up and I'm just grateful that I live in Sweden. I'm just so grateful. You have to be grateful. If you live in Sweden, you have to be grateful. After looking at the rest of the world losing their minds, still losing their minds in some cases, like Canada, Australia. I mean, if you live in Sweden, you had better be waking up and just thanking your lucky stars that you live in a country that's free, for the most part, and is actually backing off the bullshit that they put in. I mean, it's terrific. Good morning, Eddie K. Where do you see Thorin? What? Oh, you see Thor in there. Wow, you see Thor in there. Interesting. That would be, if you find that picture, you could probably edit Thorin's face into it. I think he would like that. If you're handy with the Photoshop, it's Léonard Limousin. If you search for this, Léonard Limousin, The Resurrection. Here, I'll put it in the chat for you. And for any of you guys who are good with Photoshop, I want you to get on it and then tweet it at Duncan. I do that after work. There you go, Roach. Time to Photoshop. I love it. Get after it, fellas. Get after it. Oh, yeah. Dignitas are playing today. That's interesting. Against Forza. Which tournament is this? Thunderpick Bitcoin Series. Okay, then. What kind of money's involved here? 75,000. Okay. So just an online league. 75,000. Man, it's crazy, right? Remember a time when that was tier 1 money? And now that's just an online league for tier 2, tier 3. Yeah, Papa Morris. Dude, the thing is like I've talked with people now, and the thing is like you take it for granted now in Sweden, right? I've taken it for granted for most of the time, to be fair, because I don't necessarily live in the city. So even the few restrictions that there were here in Sweden, I wasn't feeling them. But then you talk to somebody who's still living under like in those restrictions, and it's just like it's brutal. And I know people who have essentially had like just slowly they've altered their brains to just accept whatever the narrative is, because what else are they going to do? They live in hell. You know, they live in a place where they're forced to accept ideas, facts, whatever they want to call them, information that is false, and they're being forced to say that it's true. Otherwise, they can't function in society. What a nightmare. What an absolute nightmare. That's hell on earth. It's like that's part of hell on earth. I mean, they're not digging for diamonds in Africa, but that's a place that'll definitely get dark very quick, and I guess that's why we're seeing the rise in suicide, right? Well, IDK, having a good day at the work, my dude. The road to hell is paved with good intentions, with Harvard degrees, with bishops' skulls. There's a bunch of variations on that one. But yeah. Oh, you're at work now? Well, there you go. Wait, hold on. You're at work now. Have I seen the Valence coaching bug yet? No, I have not. Uses spectator bug in official games. Oh, my. 25,000. That's the thing, Abel. I mean, if you're in the big city, the legendary 15-sec walk to work. Yeah, that's one thing, that Rona has changed, right? If you can work from home, you're working from home. So all of a sudden you just roll out of bed and, hey, I'm in the office. Which has essentially been, unless I had to fly to a location, it was pretty much how I've been working for the past 10 years. Gets up from bed, work time. Basically. So Valence has used the coach bug. Bug on official matches. Wait, encountered the spectator bug in official matches during his time in charge of Cloud9. That was a while ago, wasn't it? How is this not found on the first round? I thought they went through all this sort of stuff. How did they not find this? Yeah. 2 different instances that we were looking at right now. Yep. That's what I heard, is that there were multiple versions of the same bug. Soham on Twitter? No, I don't. That might be it. Yes, that is a classic of Duncan, though. That is a classic. That is a classic. And I'm feeling that right now. Kekoethes, I'm feeling that right now. Because it's like I have this urge, and I know it's stupid to talk about it. I know it's really stupid to talk about it because it's only going to I'm only going to draw heat if I talk about it. But I have this urge to talk about how retarded Valve and PGL are for enforcing this rule. As we announced this last year, starting with 2022, all participating players, talent, and crew must be fully vaccinated. The only thing I can think of when I hear this is they are gigantic, gaping assholes. Gigantic, gaping pit of fucking hell assholes. And it's the reason I'm not working it. It's like, fuck them. If they're going to try and enforce this, if they're going to try to actually do this when countries are dropping their restrictions, completely dropping their restrictions, like we see just how Omicron is manageable. Hospitals are not being overrun. I mean, it's pretty much it. Like, this is pretty much it. Like, the Rona is done. You know, it had a good run, but that's it, right? We're pretty much past it now. And these assholes, these gigantic, gaping assholes, want to put 100% vax mandate into the major. Just because, for whatever reason now, it's not like, that's the thing. The vax, it's like they don't even care about Rona. Because before you had to be tested. So at least you're not bringing Rona in, right? Ropz just pops for Katowice. So, every time you're testing when you go into the venue. So at least you're not bringing the Rona in. So it's not even about bringing the Rona in anymore. It's just about making sure that you took the vaccine as well. Because they all took the vaccine. And PGL literally forced all of their employees to take the vaccine if they wanted to work at PGL. So you have assholes who are being assholes, forcing people to do shit. And now they're going to try and force everybody to do shit in order to participate in the World Championship. Gigantic, gaping assholes. Valve and PGL. So, fuck these people. It's unreasonable. It's completely unreasonable. Because what's reasonable would be you test. You test. If you're negative, you come to the event. If you're positive, stay home. Right? Vaxxed or not, right? Because we know that if you're vaxxed, you can still transmit. So being vaxxed or not doesn't matter. It's just about having the vax passport. It's just about covering their asses on PR. It's just about them trying to look good because Valve are run by the laptop elite. And and PGL kind of painted themselves into a corner. To be fair, PGL kind of painted themselves into a corner because they forced everybody in their company to get vaxxed to work there. So if they start, giving exceptions, if they start saying, hey, you don't need to, or what, like if they start doing that, then what? Maybe they get a mutiny on their hands in PGL because all those guys had to get vaxxed to keep their jobs. So it's just an extremely shitty situation. And just to be clear, just to be fair, right? Like, so that you all understand where I'm coming from on this. I am pro-choice on the vax matter. I don't care if you take the vax. Take it, don't. Just make an informed decision. Don't really care. All I care about is that you make an informed decision and that you make the best decision for you. You consult with the doctor. You get the job done if you want to, right? Done. That's where it ends. Because this isn't about, Rona or not. Because the COVID pass, you can all be bringing Rona into the freaking building. So it's utterly ridiculous. I'm completely against COVID passports. That's my beef. You take the vax or not, I don't care. But COVID passports is crossing the line. That's bullshit. It doesn't work. There's nothing that shows that it works. It's utter horseshit. And I don't think it belongs in the major. Really disappointed. Really disappointed in PGL that they're enforcing this. Really disappointed in Valve that they're enforcing this. I think it's just a terrible thing that they're doing. Like, what if you qualify now? If you're a 17-year-old player and you qualify and you aren't vaxxed, you have to get vaxxed in order to go to the major. What if you don't have time? What if you don't want to? You're just gonna get screwed, huh? Screwed out of the major. I guess that's what's gonna have to happen, right? So, because it's not, I don't think that it's going to be. It's a real shame. It's a real shame that this is going to be it. That this is the way that they're going to go forward with it. And I really have no intention. I have no intention of taking part in whatever it is that they're doing. No, they didn't have the same rules at the last major. Last major ran in Stockholm, my dude. So, no, they didn't have those. And also, Colin, you don't need to be vaxxed in order to travel. You just take, I mean, even vaxxed, you have to take PCR tests. So, vaxxed or not, when it comes to travel, doesn't matter. You're still testing. And if you test positive, vaxxed or not, you're getting locked in a room. So that'll be the real question, like at 15, is if they keep this going, because I think that this is a terrible move for PGL and for Valve. And if they go forward and enforce it like 2020, okay, like 2020 restrictions, 2021, it's starting to get a little bit iffy. I mean, to be fair, towards the end of 2021, it's starting to get a bit iffy if you're really trying to push this sort of thing. But now going into 2022, when countries are dropping restrictions left and right, when some countries have completely dropped all of their restrictions, and it's only the batshit crazy countries that are still going hard, as if Rona was still a significant issue to be worried about. Canada, I mean, Australia, etc. No, it's completely unreasonable. It's a real shame that PGL have decided to go this route, because there's a lot of kids who are going to want to go to the major as well, right? There's a lot of young people who are going to want to go to the major. And so what if they live in a country where they can't get vaxxed because they're too young? So what? They just don't get to go to the major now. Okay. That sucks. Yeah, hello from New Zealand. Send help. Friday 1st, I feel for you, man. That's a rough place to be, my dude. That's a rough place to be. Sorry, man. It's just utterly ridiculous. This whole thing from A to Z. I am so disappointed in PGL and in Valve. And there we go. You want to go to Katowice, but this mandate won't let you. There you go. And that's the thing. That's the other thing. It's just, well, I mean, it's like if it's an optional thing, or I guess the where it gets fuzzy for me is also like I just competed in a tournament, ADCC tournament, right? And the competitors and the staff didn't need to be vaxxed. That was an optional thing, right? But if you were going to attend as a spectator, you needed to be vaxxed. And it's just like, I don't like it. I really don't like it. I don't think that, I think COVID passes are bullshit. So I'm not a fan. But at least, if you're a competitor, then it's an option, right? And I think it should be the same thing with the major and with everything else, where it's like, this is these people's careers you're fucking with now. This isn't some guy who's like, oh, you want to go to the major or not? Do you want to be a spectator at this sport or not? Do you want to go to watch this match or not? It's like you have a choice, right? It's like, oh, okay, I won't do it, right? Or I'll wait and see or whatever, right? But if it's your job, if it's your livelihood, and these people are now fucking with your livelihood, that crosses a line. That's bullshit. So it's a real shame. Yeah, Von Basin. I think Poland is actually getting better on that front, right? In Germany, attending events requires you to either be fully vaccinated or have negative tests not older than 24 hours. And there you go, Papa Morris. That's the thing. If you do, dude, it's so ridiculous now. It's so ridiculous. There's I went to the Office Depot. So this is an office supply store. And they literally have like buckets of rapid COVID tests where I can just literally go to the office supply store and buy COVID tests there. I used to have to go, get a nurse to do them, but now you just, whatever. You can go to the office supply store real quick, pick up a COVID test. At least you have the option, right? At least you have the option. But not having the option, I think that's really, really a trash move by PGL and a trash move by Valve. So disappointing. And well, here we are. But UK is dropping restrictions, though. Aren't they, Happy Panda? I don't know about that. Yeah, good for you, Noisy. Yeah, lots of shit companies require it. Yeah. Blast doesn't have restrictions like this. We had, yeah, I mean, COVID pass, but also testing at Copenhagen. So the fall final when we were in the Royal Arena, they had COVID pass then in Denmark, and that was utter bullshit too. But you could still get around with the PCR test for 72 hours, right? So if you had a 72-hour PCR test, you could, or a PCR test, or no, like just a rapid test, whatever. If you just had a test, you were good to move around for 72 hours with it. So that was where that was working out. Oh, UK still has travel restrictions. Okay, I see. Yep, Sweden dropped restrictions. So and like Sweden is just, I just love Sweden so much. It's like every day Sweden, you just realize just how freaking amazing it is. Because not only do they drop restrictions, they're just like, guys, and then they just completely drop all restrictions in terms of travel as well. It's just how is it that Sweden has been leading the way the entire time? Hey, what's up, Jesse? Thanks for the resub, my dude. Mad. You always have option to leave society and live on your own. No, you don't, teased. If I stop paying taxes, they throw me in jail. What are you talking about? You always have the option to, no, they literally, like, that's the whole point. They come, they put a gun to your head, and they say, do what we tell you to do. So no, I don't have the option to leave. Your argument is invalid. Sorry. And I have quite a bit of flexibility. Imagine you're a parent with kids that you have to take care of. All of a sudden, your flexibility starts going down real fast. You know, if you have responsibilities like that, it's a totally different ballgame. You're not going to be fucking around as much. But no, you don't have the option to just go off and do your own thing, or some people don't, and that's the issue. That's exactly a Papa Morris. What a shame. Interesting that Valance got pinged, though. Changing subject. Interesting that Valance got pinged on this. Well, I mean, Coach, nothing. I mean, what, is he just going to get added to the list? Hasn't he retired anyways? Maybe that's why they haven't really cared about him. Yeah, it's really weird that way, Noisy, I know. Cherry Sakura. No, it's all right. Good morning, MST. What's up, dude? Hope you're doing well. Went off to the Valorant side of things, yeah. Yeah, it's weird like a 15. Still a commie country. Definitely still a commie country. But also very free on the other side in certain things. It's really weird that way, how it works. I don't know. It's a very bizarre state that we find ourselves in. So the RMR tournaments are going to be in Romania as well. That's interesting. So there's the PGL studio in Romania. So I'm guessing this is what they're talking about, where they're going to be running it from. And, I mean, it's a decent spot. It's a nice studio. It's a nice environment. Hey, Stay. What's up, dude? It's called the Swedish system, sort of the Swedish golden rule. I mean, as far as Sweden is concerned, it's still a commie country, but it's like tribal communism or tribal socialism. That's the idea, I think, that applies to Sweden, in the sense that Swedes look out for Swedes, Swedes stick together, and the whole system works. Everybody pays taxes, everybody, all that sort of thing. But it's because everybody pays. So that's why the system here works, because everybody contributes, everybody pays. It's very hard to get out of that sort of situation. So either you're in on that or you're out, right? That's one of the major issues, the hot button topics right now in Swedish politics, is that people are there's a lot of criminals now due to immigration, et cetera. There's a lot of criminals, et cetera, that are not necessarily contributing in the same way that everybody else is, and so that's why SD is getting a lot of support. That's why there's been a big shakeup, and it's a big hot button topic. So we'll see how that goes. That'll be interesting. Still have no idea what the Americas is looking like. That's interesting. Well, those major rulebook takeaways and what they mean for PGL Antwerp. Because they have the only leader that can discuss and sounds like a leader. No, I don't vote for him. Stay. Well, without him, they wouldn't have anything, right? They'd have a bunch of it wouldn't be really. It wouldn't really work, which is truly amazing considering how long he survived and the pressure that he's under. So that's something else. Do I ever miss the States? Yes and no. I mean, I haven't lived in the States for so long. So the question is it like I miss WoW Classic? But do I miss WoW Classic, or do I miss the memories of WoW Classic, what it used to be? All right? You get my point? So it's like, do I miss the States or not? I've been in Sweden for so long. I don't know if I were to move back tomorrow. The thing is, let's put it this way: I absolutely do not miss Los Angeles. I do not miss California. If I were to move back to the States now, I'd move to Texas or I'd move to Florida, right? I would never willingly move to a blue state again. So there's that. But yeah, do I miss the States sometimes? Yeah. I'd probably go to Texas. See, I got my Texas patch right here. Don't mess with Texas. Bam. With the regular voluntary 5-meter distance from other people, all Swedes engage in. That's pretty much it. Exactly, Happy Panda. Yeah. I want weed decriminalized in Sweden. Well, I don't. So I hope that they keep it criminalized. I know Texas is fucked. Well, it's purple because all of the assholes moving from California, etc., are still voting the same way, even though they ruined their states with their votes, with the way they vote. They didn't learn their lesson. They just ran away, and they're gonna now go and poison other states like a cancer. They're just gonna go and poison other states with their voting. So Texas is gonna struggle. It'll be interesting. That's going to be very interesting because Austin is, that's the thing. The cities, but this is why there's the Electoral College. This is the whole reason why the Electoral College exists, is because cities tend to think one way and the countryside tends to think another way. And so you'll always have this dichotomy, this difference between the two. And so this is the whole reason why the Electoral College was created by the founders, and it's definitely something to keep in mind. Exactly. Avoid Austin, maybe avoid Dallas, and then odds are you're still in Texas. Cali is just ridiculous. Doing fantastic, Hagen. I did some jiu-jitsu this morning for the first time in a month, and it was awesome. We have, right now at the gym, there's the Brazilian national champion visiting, so he's going to stay for a couple months, and he's a brown belt now, but he was, I believe, purple belt when he won the Brazilian championship. So the Brazilian national championship in like jiu-jitsu is basically like saying you won the world championship, because that is the most competitive place. It's basically saying like, oh, you want to land in NA versus you want to land in EU. You go over there. White belt. I'm a white belt. So I got to roll with him, and it was something. Did some drills with him, and then I got to roll with him, and it was like, okay, it's He almost got me with a clock choke. It was very close, but I was just able to, I think he was nice to me. He was being nice to me. I think he could have finished it, but he didn't. But, yeah. Thank you very much, Plams. I appreciate it. Have I found a workaround for the Tuesday VOD? No. When did I start BJJ? At the beginning of the year. At the beginning of last year. When Flashpoint 3 happened. Flashpoint 3, I went to Los Angeles and I started there. And then I found a gym here and I've been going to that gym ever since. And I would highly recommend it to everybody out there. Just if you have the chance to go to a jiu-jitsu gym, try it. You'll either hate it or you'll love it. You know? Hey, Apin. Awesome. Doner kebab sauce. I don't really eat doner kebab. The one that was really good was outside of Boogaloo in Cologne. So at ESL we'd go to Boogaloo, which was a bar that was staying. I think it's closed now, sadly. But we'd go to that bar, and then around the corner from that bar was a kebab joint, and that was a really, really tasty kebab. But may have been a really trash kebab, because the thing is, when you're eating a kebab at that hour, when you're that drunk, anything will taste good. So there you go. That was in Oregon. Oh, dude, 6-7 years, dude. If he's been in it for 6-7 years, he's probably purple belt. What's up, Hess? It's OP. Fuck yeah, Carlin Jesus is the best. They take the belt progression. Uh-huh. What fiasco happened? I think the kind of fiasco was Ropz, the whole Ropz situation, him testing positive, and then they're not going to be able to. He's not going to be able to play. They need to bring in a substitute. So the early stage, FaZe's new star tested positive for COVID. FaZe will be playing the first few days of IEM Katowice without Robin Ropz. Cool. After the Estonian developed symptoms and tested positive for the Rona on Wednesday. Should he recover in time? So Wednesday, that was yesterday. Yeah. He's expected to be back in action on February 19th once his 10-day quarantine. Get fucked. Locked up in a hotel room for 10 days. Vaxxed or not, boys. Vaxxed or not, you're getting locked the fuck up. Oh, what a nightmare it is to travel now. What a fucking nightmare it is to travel. Doesn't matter if you're vaxxed. Vaxxed or not, you're getting locked in. You're getting locked into your fucking room, and they're throwing away the key. I've done it. It sucks. It really sucks. Flashpoint 2, when we were locked in that fucking hotel in London, and they took away our keys. We were in a prison. They took away our keys. We couldn't leave our rooms without somebody being there. And they would walk you around, make sure, you couldn't go anywhere alone because you couldn't be trusted. Can't be trusted. And so, this is for the safety of others. Get the fuck back in your room. Oh, what a fucking nightmare. Should he recover in time? The newest edition is expected to be back in action on February 19th once his 10-day quarantine period ends. The team have yet to reveal whom they will use as a stand-in, man. So 10 days, yeah, so he's fucked. So if they make it, they need to make it through the groups without Ropz so that he can then play in the playoffs. Otherwise, he will have locked himself up in a fucking hotel room for 10 days, only to get back on the next plane and fly home to Estonia. Get wrecked. Oh, nightmare fuel. Nightmare fuel. Yeah. Whom they will use as a stand-in, yeah. I arrived at the bootcamp for IEM Katowice on Monday. Today, unfortunately, tested positive for COVID, having developed some symptoms. I won't be able to start on day one. I wonder what the symptoms are. The thing is, actually, it'd be interesting to know what the symptoms are. I mean, I don't think Delta's really around anymore, is it? It's pretty much just Omicron at this point. So it's like, if you're doing Omicron, then you've probably just got a sore throat, At which point, just whatever, just play, dude. Today, I unfortunately tested positive for COOF, having developed some symptoms. I won't be able to start on day one at IEM, but could come later depending on our recovery and our team's progress. Keep everyone safe. It will end on the 19th of February. That is, dude, it's like the hits keep coming for FaZe. Like, these guys just cannot help but get kicked in the dick repeatedly by life. It's just interesting. For whatever reason, I thought FaZe was complexity for a second there. Those guys got really kicked in the dick a lot. FaZe, it's still kind of a kick in the dick for Kerrigan. I mean, come on. This whole time you were just waiting to ramp up with Ropz and take over the world, and now it's like, oh, nope, sorry. One of the major tournaments of the year? Yeah, no, he's going to be, you can't play with him. Ugh. Until February 19th. Oh, man, what a nightmare. Good morning, Zendever. Pasha will knock out the other teams. Yeah. I guess that's what actually got my VOD taken down off of YouTube the other day. It's because we watched the Pasha clip of him punching that dude in the face. At least it's on land, so hopefully Rain and Kerrigan can perform well enough. I mean, hopefully. I hear it. Well, okay, so what is the proper? Because I hear Omicron. I hear Omicron. So which is it, Mimi's? Which is it? Is it Omicron? Omicron. Oh, okay. So we should go with Omicron. Omicron. Okay. It's just like it's the same way, you know, where if we skipped the Greek alphabet letter. What was it? G, I think. You know, when we just start skipping that, I don't know anymore. You know, the Omegatron. That's it. That's a good way to do it. So Omicron. I just want to say it as ridiculously as possible because it's just, and it's pronounced G. Yeah. Omicron. The Decepticons are trying to infect us. Who's going to take the Ropz place? I do not know. I do not have that information. That'd be pretty cool if I did, but I don't. For me, it's the flu. Yeah, stay. I mean, that's pretty much it, isn't it? FaZe Bubsky. Dude. Well, I think Bubs is he's becoming an analyst. I mean, if you become an analyst now, you can still come back from that, can't you? For whatever reason, I'm thinking of Seb in Dota, because he was a player and then he became an analyst and then he became a player again, and now he's a team owner. I don't know if he's still playing. Cadian did. That's true. I do live in Sweden, Dread. I do live in Sweden. Well, we've got a Pop Flash coming up. We're recording Pop Flash this afternoon, so we're going to be talking Katowice with Thorin and Richard. So we'll be recording that this afternoon, and we'll get that out nice and quick. So looking forward to that. That's going to be loads of fun. That's going to be loads of fun. Can't wait. So Katowice discussions are going to be there. We're not playing viewer games today. Sadly, I have to book in about 10 minutes. I have to skedaddle in about 10 minutes time. And by the numbers, I think is on Richard's channel. Yeah. He is way too young to end his playing career now. Yeah, that's why I think I think Bubsky will probably take this time to be on TV2, talk it up, maybe explore some options there. But he needs there to be a shake-up in the Danish scene. You know, there aren't that many Danish teams to join that are elite. Copenhagen Flames want to stay 5 together. Heroic aren't most likely not going to be making any changes anytime soon. There's no way he's going back to Astralis. So, you know, I don't think that I think this might be the smart move for him. So he has to wait at least 6 months. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, yams in a can. Exactly, yams in a can. That's a very good point. Astralis are, what's the proper term? How do I pronounce this correctly, Mimis? Is it douche bag or douche bag? I'm run by douche bags. I think is how it's the proper pronunciation. It always escapes me, but yeah. To nip we go. That's an interesting idea, Panda. That's an interesting idea. To nip we go. By lovely people, you must mean, of course, indeed. It lets you wonder. How did I end up in Sweden? We moved to work. It's interesting that only the French notice the hair being shaved. How does that work? But you are they are poetic about how they go about it. Yeah, that's not happening anytime soon, Liliaga. Sadly. It's not happening anytime soon. Bien sûr que je régale Lazy Fox. Bien sûr. Il faudrait que je fasse un podcast en français un de ces jours. Ça serait marrant. Discuter un peu. De quoi on va parler en France? De quoi on va parler? C'est un problème. Des news français? Sorry, what did I? Yeah, how did I get there? We moved here to start the Good Studio, and it was either move to Sweden to work with DreamHack or move to Germany to work with ESL. Nobody wants to move to Germany, so we moved to Sweden to work with DreamHack. Because once upon a time, DreamHack were awesome. Once upon a time, DreamHack were the company you wanted to work with because they were super cool, loads of fun. It was awesome, good times. And then they went to shit. So, sadly, that's just the way it goes. But about 10 years ago, DreamHack was the shit, and they were loads of fun. Now they became shit. So, it's just the way life goes. Still better than living in Germany. Hell yeah. No, would not. I have no plans to go to Germany anytime soon. Yes, today we're doing Pop Flash. Yeah, les Belges. Wondering how Nip will fare considering how decent they looked with Fozzy. If a device returns, then maybe there is more hope for that lineup despite the initial results with Esatag. Yams in a can. The question is, I don't know, Prolix, if Robert Olin is still involved. I don't know if he's still involved. I know he moved to London and he had some stuff going on, but I don't know what he's been doing. He kind of dropped off. But as far as Nip are concerned, how good are you going to play if you're playing with a teammate who doesn't want to play with you? Which it feels like Device, all of this stuff, like he's constantly taking breaks, he's not feeling it, not performing. He's probably just mega tilted. I mean, how much fun are you going to have playing with a guy like that versus Fozzy, who's just going to be ecstatic to have the chance to play with the main Nip roster? It's got to be two completely different feelings. Playing with Fozzy has probably got to be mega positive, just fired up. You're having fun because there's no pressure. You're just doing it. Versus with Device, it's just going to be fucking nightmare, just worried, like, oh my gosh, I missed this smoke. Is he going to notice? Like, I don't know. Playing with Device has got to be a bit stressful right now for the other players. So the expectations are higher. So I don't know. I almost want to say that this version of Nip will do better just because the team dynamic is probably going to work better than when Device is on the roster. I don't know. It feels like it. I mean, considering their results at Blast. I mean, dude, this is considering I never expected to see them do this well without Device, to be fair, They beat Big, they lose to G2, and then they lose to G2, but they beat Big. They beat Big twice, they lose to G2 twice, but, fine, fair enough. G2 is just popping off with all of the firepower, and it went to overtime on Mirage, which that could have been anybody's game, right? So Nip played well in the first group phase. They then proceed to beat Na'Vi 2-1, which is no joke. I mean, that's no joke. So they do well there. They lose 2-1 in overtime again on Mirage. So again, that's like, it could go any, dude, this is outrageous how close it was. 16-14 on Ancient, and then an overtime loss on Mirage for Nip. So I mean, they did remarkably well at Blast considering they didn't have device. When is my next event? I don't know. I have no idea. I'm currently unemployed. So I have no idea when my next event is going to happen. So I'm just going to be chilling with you guys for a while. You know, sorry it's been spotty with the stream lately. There's just been a lot going on at the jiu-jitsu gym. I'm getting involved over there more and more. So it's just been a bit hectic. But the morning streams are going to keep happening. Starting like now, basically, it's going to be much more regular. We should have a regular schedule going again, and we should be moving along. So we'll have these morning, chill streams. But as far as commentary is concerned, I have no idea what the fuck is going to happen in the next 6 months or so. Because the major is doing, the PGL and Valve are being gigantic gaping assholes and enforcing their bullshit COVID restrictions. So not going to go to that. ESL have got their casters and Blast have got their casters. So there may be something that comes up in like April, May. Had a chat the other day, but nothing set in stone, and yeah, just not really. There isn't a whole lot of room to maneuver. Used to be that we had more tournaments to work with, but sadly that's kind of gone away, and we're down to just a couple tournaments to work with, and there's only so many slots to fill. So just the state of the game right now, guys. We're gonna have to be patient. Thank you, Tsinga. Well, Loliaga, I mean, they've been phasing me out for a while, haven't they? I think I'm just too outspoken, and I don't let them pull their. I've called them on their virtue signaling, like SJW bullshit too much, and I know that there's definitely a lot of SJWs in that company, sadly. So I think I just rubbed them the wrong way, because it's like they're doing all this content, this documentary. It's like, how many times have I worked with Blast and they haven't taken me aside to do any of this kind of content? So, I mean, really, it should be in my face, where it's just like, yeah, they're interviewing Scrawny, they're interviewing Launders, they're interviewing Anders, they're interviewing everybody else. They're not interviewing me for any of the side content that they're doing. So that's kind of like the signal where it's just like, okay, they're just not going to work with me in the future. And, well, there you go. At the end of the day, it is what it is. You go, you do... Hopefully I keep speaking my mind. And then we go from there. Papa Morris, I mean, he's talked about paying... Rumor has it that Device was talking about covering a portion of his buyout fee from NIP. So if he goes back to Astralis, I will be howling. Because NIP, at least if they get their money back, to be fair, if it's like a straight up return where NIP just get their money back, that'd be nice. The only problem is that Astralis are a publicly traded company, and so they need to generate a profit, and when they don't generate a profit, bad news. So they're at 3.10 DKK. They've actually gone up slightly. Interesting. Little bit of a bump here, gentlemen. I wonder what the news was that got them this. Interesting. A little bit of a bump from, but yeah, that's the thing. Astralis, I don't think that they're the kind of team that are just going to give money back, especially not the kind of money that NIP paid to buy Device. So I think he's kind of stuck, isn't he? Yeah, but IDK, now I've got the, I am going to be loading I'm just going to be loading this one up. I'm going to be loading the VODs to YouTube. Fuck it. And then, we'll go from there. Astrala's getting Device back. Device seemingly outright lied when he called out the Luis Mir. Of course he did. Players always do this, but Device, I mean, yeah, Device, it's very disappointing. It's disappointing to see that sort of behavior, right? He could just say no comment, or just not say anything at all. Just leave it. But for him to come out and question a reporter's integrity, who's been pretty good with his information, it's not like Nell is caught lying very often. So when Nell makes a report, usually there's something to it. And so for Device to straight up call him a liar, it's just poor form. It's just poor form on Device's side. It's a real shame. It's a real shame that he chose to behave that way. So, I mean, I think that, I mean, Device lives in Copenhagen again. He doesn't live in Stockholm anymore. He lives in Copenhagen. He's starting over. Like, he's starting fresh. So for him to move back to Copenhagen, I could see him joining Astralis again and then just, get back into that Astralis machine, sign one of those 4-year deals, that they apparently handing out to the major champions, right? Zipnik's gets a 4-year deal. If Zip gets a deal like that, Device should be able to get a pretty good deal from Astralis and then go from there. What about Lucky then? Well, Lucky would then become Benchkey, much like his former teammate Benski. But what would he'd become Bucky. Okay, we would call him Bucky. So you got Benski and you got Bucky. That's how this works. So Bucky would find himself very quickly sidelined in favor of an op, which is exactly what Astralis need. They need an op. They really, really need an op. So bringing Device back to op would work very well. Yeah, then he comes back as a rifler, Diesel. Exactly. My Fozzie just like a bit in that regard, yeah. But is it realistic for Device? I mean, nothing was realistic about this move for Device. If anything, Device joined NIP because he was dating that woman, and he was here in Stockholm because of it. So, if anything, the whole NIP thing happens because of a relationship issue. Because of a relationship, the relationship is out of the question now. So, or is out of the picture. So, why would he stay on NIP? The only reason he was on that team was because of her. Yeah, RQ. I think he can. It's a question of how much Zonic was involved, but I think he can. Good morning, Maluk. Tension impact. I don't know. It's a Liquipedia. I'm on Liquipedia right now, my dude. Who knows what's going on here? I have no idea. Good morning, Infamous. What do we got? Oh. Same dates as IEM playoffs. Get wrecked. Sucks to see Pimp in the hospital. Hope he's all right. Huh. Yeah, what's up, dude? It's good to see you. Maybe replace Zip with Velda. Dude, Zip is on a multi-year deal. Like he's good. I don't want second girlfriends and shit. I want to be the priority. That's Night Owl God. That's a good point. Ocelot is usually pretty solid with his comments. I think that's a safe one. A week till he can move. Really, it takes that long to recover from an appendicitis? I thought that was a quicker. I thought it was a quicker thing. For basic functions, but not to work. I mean, knowing Pimp, if he could get on his feet, I imagine he would just be he would be at the desk. Blue Water Bridge, which connects to Port Huron and Sarnia, for 12 days. Meanwhile, Ottawa has been occupied for 12 days. Ah, that's sick. I love it. Well played. Trucks only. Good for them. You'll love to see it. Good for them. Yeah, that's awesome, Mimis. Until freedom improves. Mm. You can tell that Orwell and Good just woke up. Get out. 740,000 pound painting is ruined after is ruined. Was it ruined? After bored security guard dries eyes on faceless figures on his first day of the job. What a hero. Oh, I love it. Oh, that's so good. Improved, exactly. How is this not seen as an improvement? Three different professional grade broadcasts and 4 clean feeds simultaneously using 11 computers in a garage. What is Joao doing right now? And a broadcaster, admin, probably working with G2. Huh. Damn, man. So working on CS, huh? Well done. Good morning, Strobel. The guy that ate a banana taped to a wall. Oh, look at that. Like I have been blessed. I can't get around it. I got to cast the major and I got to cast Blast Fall, both of the arena events in the last 2 years. That was amazing. That was very cool, man. That was a good time. Dude, it was packed. It was a full house. It was a full house. You know what? Fuck it. I want to use this. Let's use this image. It was a full house. All right, yeah, let's see. Profile. Can we use that picture for this? Does that work well? No, we don't want to zoom. Like that, maybe? There we go. Oh, thank you very much, Break Me. That's awesome. That was a good time, man. What an event. What an event this was. And to do the major in Stockholm as well in Globen. Both of those events, man. It was just amazing. It was so cool to cast in front of fans again. Man, that's the difference, you know. Studio events. Studio event. Like the thing is that I will cast the same online studio at LAN, but being at LAN is definitely. I mean, it's just then you get this, the ambiance, the feel, everything tied into it. You want a major to be the first, really, Colin? So, are you going to go to Belgium or are you going to go to Brazil? Or are you going to wait another year? Maybe another year. Yeah, I mean, thank you, guy. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, no, the walkouts were terrific, weren't they? Hmm. Bruh, you look like Captain Haddock from The Adventures of Tintin. Hell yeah. I appreciate that. Bashi Buzuk. I appreciate that reference. Captain Haddock is a baller. Total badass. I appreciate that, man. Let's go. Looking forward to PGL Antwerp. Ever been to Belgium, Semmler? I have not been to Belgium. I have not been to Antwerp. I have not been to Belgium, but I am not going because PGL and Valve have decided to enforce a 100% vax rule for staff, players, and attendees, and I am completely against COVID passes. So they can go fuck themselves, basically. So no, I will not be going to the major. What do I mean with the good studio? With good studio? What do you mean, Max? Think they'll take a gamble on the talent for Antwerp? Yes, I know who the casters are going to be. I was going to be one of them until until yeah. Yep, Maluk, exactly. Yeah, but Goose is Canadian. I'm against passes. I don't care about the vaccine. Make an informed decision on the vaccine, whether you take the vaccine or not. I don't give a shit about the vaccine. I do care about us limiting access to anything based on your vaxxed status, though, on your health status. I am completely opposed to. So whether you get the vaccine or not, I don't give a shit. But if you are, but if you are limiting people's access to work, events, whatever, based on that status, fuck you. Is essentially my position. Yeah, he's going to be in a tight spot. I don't know what his I don't know what they're going to do for him. If he's going to get an exception based on that, if you can get a doctor's notice. Um I don't know what they're going to do for him. I mean, the thing is like there is that aspect. It's like okay, you can get an exemption, but the idea of them forcing the players, who for the large part are young men, they're forcing them to take the vaccine in order to compete in the major. I find that utterly disgusting and reprehensible, and so I'm not interested in taking part in that either. Um, so it's like, oh, I can have an exemption, sure, but does that mean that I sign off on the rest of what they're doing? And personally, I find it just completely and utterly disgusting what they're doing. So, um, yeah, that's kind of the position we find ourselves in, unfortunately. Even though countries are dropping their vax mandates, and even though we're dropping restrictions, even though we're pretty much out of it, we're still gonna arbitrarily do this because Valve and PGL, because PGL forced all their employees to get vaxxed in order to work there, and Valve are just laptop class assholes. Who knows? Oh well. Such is life. And it's probably a good place to call it for the day, guys. It's probably a good place to call it for the day. Wow. So, shall we... Let's find somebody to host. Let's find somebody to host for the day. Café au Semmler. Exact. I had a couple of Semmler the other day. It was delicious. Had them for... What did I have them for? Breakfast? Breakfast. Pop Flash is coming up... well, we're recording Pop Flash later today. So I don't know when... I don't know when that'll be released. Michael. But I don't know when that'll be released, but it'll be later. Ooh, okay, SPL. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, my dude. 3 weeks until Fetty's dogging. Yeah. Good question. I can't wait. Fetty's dogging's going to be good, and we're going to have loads of Semmler, and it's going to be amazing. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, everybody. As always, a pleasure. And what are we doing? What are we doing? Oh yeah, we're gonna send you guys over to Michael. Right, I'll be back tomorrow morning. We'll be back tomorrow morning, shooting the shit, talking. We'll see what other news breaks, and if there's anything else to discuss in the CS world. Otherwise, we'll just keep rambling about other things and just kind of having a conversation, because that's what we do here in the morning. But yeah. Back to it, and yeah, have a fantastic day wherever you guys are. Good night's sleep if you're going to sleep. Good day if you're having a day, and I'll see you all tomorrow morning bright and early. Take care.